Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cup of Geek podcast, featured on the Geek Talk PH FB page and wherever you're watching this. Of course, we are your Cup of Geeks, and we're going to be talking about the latest episode of the best Star Wars live-action show, The Mandalorian. But before any of that, obviously, we got to introduce ourselves, of course. My name is Aqua Blake, aka Blake Salcedo. You can always find me on FB, TikTok, IG, probably not Twitter. Twitter's too toxic. And on co-host as well. Starting off with the Geeky Pinoy himself, Noah.
Hey, yo, what's up? Geeky Pinoy here. And you can catch me, of course, the usuals, TikTok, Facebook, a bit of Twitter and Instagram, and of course, sa YouTube, where you can see this as well sa YouTube, sa Spotify, and even sa Apple Podcasts. So, pasa ko na to. Papa Ray!
What is up? Maayong hapon, maayong gabi, maayong buntag, maayong adlaw sa inyong tanan. I am Ray and I'm your Night of Fun. And naka-bonnet ako ngayon kasi I don't feel like fixing my hair. So I'm trying to cover up my sobrang gulong buhok tonight. So
Wala ko,
hopefully
may rap line ka ngayon.
actually medyo inspired na rin ako because I watched Respeto sa Netflix a few nights ago and yeah, I'm in the zone.
You're feeling it.
Nagkukunwari ni Popper eh, no? What's up? Let's go. But yeah, you can catch me on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And you can find me updating stuff there. Go, Blake.
Now, everybody, we're going to be rounding it back to our topic for the day. Obviously, Mandalorian Season 3 has come out. And obviously, if you guys have not watched Book of Boba Fett, like some people here, I'm sorry, you probably would not have, figured out what happened in the show. But, of course, you're still caught up to speed. And yes, if you're going to be watching this, we are going to be talking about spoilers. So, you've been warned. So, first things first, let us talk about what we thought of the first episode of the season 3 of The Mandalorian. Okay, for me, first, I liked it. It was too short.
Of course.
It was definitely too short.
It was too short. It was literally 30 minutes. And but even though it was 30 minutes, they did have a lot of pretty good action scenes. It was pretty fun and enjoyable. Although, I mean, if you're going to compare this premiere to the season 2 premiere of Mandalorian, you got to give it to season 2. Like, not just raise the bar. Raise the bars, literally. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Ako, I agree. It's very short, but yeah, it's short and sweet. Sobrang refreshing. Like I always said, sobrang refreshing makapanood ulit ng Mandalorian. How many years ba? 2 years ba? Yung last one? Or a year?
2021.
Pero, diba? So, 2 years of waiting. I know Pedro Pascal is always there. Nandun siya sa The Last of Us. Andun siya sa, of course, sa mga ibang shows niya. Pero, iba talaga yung Mandalorian. And talagang kudos with John Favreau, with sino yung isa yun, Mr. Sombrero? Sorry. Kasi yung because it's really good. Yet, yung sabi nga, though it's 30 plus minutes, ang dami ng references, ang dami ng parang it's no dull moment. For me, no dull moment for that 30 plus minutes. Hindi mo masabi na tagal naman ito or what. No dull moment. Sobrang sweet. Yes, short and sweet. That's for me.
Okay. Nung sinabi ni Blake that someone here did not watch the Book of Boba Fett.
Wait, Di naman ikaw.
Di ba ko yun? Pero yeah, pero sige. Oo, hindi ko pinanood ang The Book of Boba Fett. Why? Because I heard bad stuff. Ugly stuff about that series. I did not watch it. So, when I came into Mandalorian Season 3, ang ginawa ko before the show was go through a YouTube video summarizing what I need to know before going to Season 3. And so, I found out, kasi diba, at the end of Season 2, Baby Yoda or Grogu sumama kay Luke Skywalker, and then bye-bye Zaddy. Bye-bye Zaddy Jinjarin. Diba?
Daddy.
Bye-bye Daddy siya. So sabi ko, okay, nung napanood ko yung what I need to know about before going to season 3, sabi ko, ay, nakabalik na pala si si Jinjarin. What happened? And then, I think there's just some key story elements na kailangan mo lang malaman before season 3 that you can probably watch on somewhere YouTube. Na feeling ko, I don't really need to watch the whole season of Book of Boba Fett, just probably those episodes or a short video sa YouTube that helped me a lot. But going into the first episode of season 3, I really liked it. Sobrang high action, sobrang it's bringing me back to that old western style of Star Wars storytelling. Lalo na yung tipong konti na lang papang. Sobrang nag-enjoy ako doon. Diba? Tapos yung chase scene sa space, and then the script as well. So definitely enjoyed this first episode. Yun nga lang, nung nag-credit scene na, sabi ko sa sarili ko, ha? Tapos na? Ha? Yun na yun? What? Yun na yun? Pero yeah, it was just short. Nabitin ako, sobrang nabitin ako. Pero it's a good start for season 3.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign, di ba?
True. And, obviously with this episode, even though that it was a really short episode, there's so many things that were packed into this one episode, so many different references. I would say is probably the perfect balance of paying respects to all eras of Star Wars, because we had prequel references, we had original trilogy references, we had sequel trilogy references that we can accept, even though we don't want to, accept the fact that the sequels are happening. But yeah, they're happening. Yeah, like, I don't know, for me, for one thing, like, you have the Mando's ship, you have the original trilogy, obviously the effects of the galaxy after the end of Vader, and then of course sequel trilogy, you have anong pangalan ng small one,
the Anzalans. So yeah, the race of Babu Freak.
It also begs the question, though, because with so many references, because this has always been brought up sometimes with different things for Star Wars, especially the shows. Now, do you guys think that the references or Easter eggs are too much, or do you think they are able to just blend it naturally with the show and Star Wars in general?
Ako sa tingin ko, it works so far sa show. One thing is because syempre the Mandalorian basically is a spin-off or an expansion story of the Star Wars stories. So if you put in the what you see in the trilogies na yung spacecraft ni Mandalorian, the race of Babu Freak there, it just unifies basically what's really in that Star Wars universe. Parang you don't actually need to introduce new species of aliens. You don't really need to introduce new spacecrafts in this story. You have a world na built already from previous established already in the previous books, the previous movies, that you can use and unify them in that story. Use them in that story, and they're properly being used dito naman sa sa series na to. And yeah, I think there's I don't see a problem in the in what they're using so far sa sa episode 1 na to.
Me, I would agree that all the Easter eggs, as far as yung na-catch ko, they blend very well. Hindi naman siya pilit. Hindi siya for the sake of putting it para lang magkaroon ng nostalgic effect. The episode 1. And it would really depend on how deep, of course, you are into Star Wars. Siyempre kung hindi naman lahat nanonood agad ng mga other programs of Star Wars, maybe some are only watching Mandalorian, they might not be able to catch some of the Easter eggs. And later on, they'll just realize as soon as they dive deep into other series na, nakita ko na to from the episode 1 or from Mandalorian. So it would for those who are soulful fan talaga ng Star Wars, as far as with all the Easter eggs, it did fit well, pero hindi rin naman na-compromise yung pinaka-storyline or pinaka-plot nitong season 3, which is, I think Mando is more on regaining, tawag doon? Parang redeeming himself. Diba? Parang, I think that's, diba sabi nga, tapos na yung, yung mission niya with Grogu, and Grogu chose to be with him. So ngayon, iba na yung goal niya. And I think clear naman siya. Hindi siya nawala dun sa mission niya. Kahit ang dami niyang dinaan ng lugar, ang dami niyang taong nakasalamuha, ang daming Easter eggs, but still the story is there. The mission of Mando is very clear up until the end of episode 1. Hopefully, it will continue that way.
Gusto kong pag-usapan yun. Kasi 'di ba, in the last few seasons, parang hindi as big as what we see it to be yung parang main plot ni ni Mandalorian, na parang every episode is like a side quest. Diba? So parang and then you get to meet new characters, you get to see Mandalorian doing something on that episode because he needs to do something for this, for that. Na parang there's hindi ko masabing as organized, pero parang hindi as binibigay kagad sa atin na ito yung basically the bigger plot sa story. Pero this episode kasi simula pa lang, yung first episode pa lang, sinasabi na sa atin, ito yung basically the main plot of season 3, na Mandalorian having revealed himself, taken off his helmet sa ibang tao, goes against the way of the Mandalorians,
the creed.
So the creed of the Mandalorians. So parang he has to somehow redeem himself. He has to, kasi syempre meron pa rin yung he has to naniniwala pa rin siya dun sa creed and that faith in that creed means he has to follow its rules, and part of the rule is you cannot take off your helmet. And since he's taken it off, showed it to si Grogu and si Kate, si Kate, wait lang, K2SO ba?
Bill Burr.
Pero yun, nasa na tayo, parang nasa main plot na tayo na, okay, ito yung main plot, he's trying to redeem himself, but at the same time, you still see, parang, he's in the middle of a parang, a divided clan or race. So, it's very interesting. It's very interesting that we have that, plot given to us sa, episode 1. Yoda.
And with that, yes. And with that, we must say, it's hard to formulate. How does Yoda do this, right? Was this? Yeah, and going back with the references, which I've noticed, and I think some of the fans are starting to catch up on, especially if they haven't watched any of the other shows. That, for example, there's a lot of connection and connective tissue of this show with a lot of the material from the animated shows, Clone Wars and Rebels. specifically involving Mandalorians because Dave Filoni really loves Mandalorians. And one of the biggest, of course, connections that we had was in season 2 when, Ahsoka Tano appeared when Bo-Katan
Bo-Katan.
appeared because they were both characters from the Clone Wars that they've established who they were originally there, and then they finally appeared in live action, and then now the main players in live action in the Mandalorian, and we even got more references to the show Rebels when Grogu was in hyperspace with Mando, and he was looking out and he was seeing
The space
those
whales.
space whales that can travel through
Whale
hyperspace
squid.
by themselves. Yeah, I'm just like, but then it makes it like, doesn't it make you guys wonder now? Is Star Wars becoming a little bit like Marvel in that sense, where you have to watch all these other things just so that you can get whatever is going on here, or do you think with Star Wars you can just like watch it as is, specifically with Mandalorian?
Ako,
With
sige,
Mandalorian,
go.
ako kasi with Mandalorian, with I understand season 1 is more of test water for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau because they don't know yet if it will work, if it will be taken positively by majority of the Star Wars fans because it's totally their own series and they did not allow Kennedy or even Abrams ba yun? JJ Abrams before to mingle on the series. So wala pa silang ginamit na mga anything connected with the bigger picture of Star Wars. Then when nung nag-succeed naman yung season 1, that's the time that they had other characters from the animated series to be involved. Kasi sa season 2, dun lumabas si Ahsoka Tano, dun lumabas sila Bo-Katan, even
Luke Skywalker.
Sino nga ba yung
Si
yung
Luke
parang yung unang nagsuot ng ng armor ni Boba Fett.
Si
Basta siya.
Cobb Vanth. I have
diba?
puro Mandalorian Funko Pops na nandito. So if there's a reference that we need to find.
Reference. So it's proven na okay si Mandalorian. That's why in season 2 they were able to have other characters. And doon na nagsisimula yung sinasabi natin na like Marvel, like connective tissue because let's admit it. Nag-work kay Marvel, tingin nila may salba si Star Wars. I think that's the same ingredient. Not really the same ingredient, but the same game plan na nag-work kay Marvel. And like right now, people are always, dahil na-spoil tayo kay Marvel, a lot of people are always looking for a connection. Pero as far as story kasi sa season 2, natapos naman ni Din Djarin yung talagang goal niya. It just so happens, season 3 is a different goal. But the problem of the Mandalorians are still there. So kaya parang akala natin connected siya. Though it's a different mission now, but the same problems of the Mandalorians, the same issues in the universe are still there. Yun lang tingin ko. Go, Ray.
Actually, I'm trying to research right now kasi unlike Marvel, or I'm not sure if there's this thing sa Marvel, pero when you talk about Star Wars canon has been there even before Disney bought the rights to Star Wars. Nagkaroon lang ng reset and they change it to the new canon right now after that switch. And I think the difference between Marvel and the Star Wars canon is the Star Wars canon also expands to the games and especially the comics. And before the books and the novels. So, and all of these stories are actually being reviewed. Hindi ko lang maalala at the top of my head kaya ako ni-research. There's parang a council that reviews this story, so this materials. So that makes it a parang hindi maging messy, or they try to control whatever is in the canon or not. Pero in this part of the Star Wars world, no, the Star Wars universe that we talked about, the Mandalorian. Ito yung mahirap siguro being isang matagal ka na Star Wars fan kasi you already know the lore, you already know the concept of what Star Wars is. But ang pinaka-worry ko lagi with these interconnectivity, with these Easter eggs being added into the stories is how would new fans or new kids, lalo na kids, the future generation of Star Wars fans appreciate these films or these shows on the first time that they see it. Ako naman, dahil sabi ko nga before we shot this recording, hindi ako masyadong mapanood ng animated shows for Star Wars. So I've not watched Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch yet. Di pa. Laki na ba naman ng series, 'di ba? But I've read the comics. So and I'm much more I'm much more knowledgeable with what's happening in the comics versus the animated shows. And so yun na nga, parang isang malaking, for some of you na you watch the animated shows, you were amazed, or you parang it had you had recalls of the space whales. Pero nung napanood ko yung scene na yun, parang it's nice. But what are those?
Those are Calamari's relative.
Isip ko tuloy, meron ba sa comics yan? Saan ba yan una lumabas? And then, yun na nga, I found out later on that they were part of the animated shows na, okay. So, for those who watch animated shows, you can really appreciate na inad nila yun. But for example, for me na hindi masyado familiar sa animated shows, na okay, it's nice. It's nice, a nice thing. Then, syempre, being isang Star Wars geek, I research. Saan galing to? Galing pala sa animation yan. Okay, now I appreciate it, right? More than the first time I watched it. So, it's a different experience naman for me. So, I think that's what's really nice about being a Star Wars fan na for example, if you just get into Mandalorian first, di mo pa napanood siguro probably the movies, you can still appreciate it on its own, but it gets you interested with what's in the bigger Star Wars universe, and hopefully nga it can get you to watch the movies, get you to watch the animated shows, get you to watch to read the comics, and that's I think what's important naman sa isang story.
And for the record din naman, I think sa akin lang naman, what I know, Star Wars, nas nauna sila as far as connectivity show compared sa Marvel. Because alam naman natin yung episode 5 to 6, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 is already connected. And then bumalik sa 1, 2, 3, connected naman na lahat siya. But before pa magkaroon ng Iron Man, before pa tayo magkaroon ng MCU, let's admit it, medyo way ahead na as far as connectivity si Star Wars. Medyo kala lang na makaramihan na huli siya ngayon. Pero with that same ingredient, meron na si Star Wars nun. Sa akin lang naman.
Very, very true. And we got and especially now since there's more Star Wars shows coming out, we have Star Wars Acolyte, which is going to be taking place during the High Republic era, which is technically right like 100 years before Phantom Menace, and also a few thousand years after the Old Republic. Then we got Skeleton Crew, which I'm not really sure when that takes place in. Then we got the Ahsoka series, which is, following up on that particular episode in Mandalorian Season 2, as well as following up the finale of Star Wars Rebels. And I don't want to spoil Rey, but whatever happened there and the character there. But say, you got to watch it, Rey. You got to watch it.
I'll try to catch up. But I have a question. with
Where's my
all
fly?
I have a question. With all these
Uh,
shows coming out, do you feel that it's also becoming like Marvel? That there's a lot of quantity that will probably somehow lose quality in the near future, or we lost quality sa Book of Boba Fett actually, diba? So parang
we already did. Though.
I mean,
We already did.
the spin.
We already
Why
did.
would you spin? It's an unnecessary spin. It's like, I'm a spin. Or shoot anyway.
Patingin
Right.
nyo, do we
Yeah.
have so much Star Wars content or tama lang?
Actually, hindi ko pa masasabing ang too much eh. Kasi when was the last time we had a movie of Star
Fair.
Wars? Diba? Uh, when was the last time that we went to a theater just to watch Star Wars? I think sobrang tagal na.
Mm.
At as far as quantity, tingin ko hindi yun yung problema nila. It's really the direction of the management. I know it's an ongoing issue with Kathleen Kennedy, with George Lucas, Jan Favreau, Dave Filoni, and other peeps of in the management. But because talagang yun nga, medyo ganun siya. Pag hindi sila Dave Filoni at hindi si Jon Favreau yung may hawak, sumasablay. Then minsan kailangan sobrang controversial naman. If it's not that bad, it's controversial, like it's 50-50 like what happened with Andor. And with Boba Fett, sobrang taas. Aminado ako with Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Ang taas ng expectation ko with those two series. Especially, of course, you're gonna have Hayden Christensen back. You're gonna have Ewan McGregor back. It's a way of respect to their character. And yun nga, it's sad what happened at the finale or even with the whole series. And then Boba Fett, sobrang ganda kasi nung appearance si Boba Fett sa Mandalorian. Sobrang hindi lang siya nostalgic eh. It's really reliving the character. And when he had his own, the best episode is when you had Din Djarin
when you had Mandalorian
diba?
episodes inside the series.
I think Blake would agree to it. The most highest rated episode of Boba Fett is when Din Djarin was there. So it's sad, but it's really saklap. Kasi dami ring magagandang character na nilabas sa Boba Fett. Like a lot of bounty hunters were there na nababasa natin sa comics, panood natin sa mga series. And it wasn't enough for them to carry the whole series. Kasi parang ni-nerf eh. Yun nga, like what's happening with Disney, na-nerf yung mga characters eh. Dati sobrang OP, sobrang nakakatakot ni Boba Fett. Pagdating
Luke Skywalker.
Ayun. So, pero, diba? That's for me. And I think, hopefully, kaya nga, Mandalorian is a breath of fresh air for me. Because quality storytelling-wise, I know it's in good hands.
How about you, Blake?
And at least, I don't know, I think we can all agree on that. At least with any of the shows, Mandalorian has always maintained quality through and through, even though like there are some episodes that are better than others. It's still pretty enjoyable. We still love it. There's no unnecessary spins while having a gunfight. No wherever the heck the Vespa speeders were in Boba Fett. Robert Rodriguez, what was that? I'm sorry. But yeah, and with Mandalorian, like I said, it's also it's a great setting that they decided to put it right after the end of the original trilogy, like around 10 ABY, where it's after the Imperial remnants are around, but it's before safely, like right before the Battle of Jakku, and because it's hardly explored at all in. I mean, some comics, some games, they do explore a little bit of after the original trilogy, but now we actually get to see it more come into play, especially with the show, because like we hardly ever figured out like, okay, how is it really like in other places of the universe or the galaxy after the Empire fell? And I think with tracking back to earlier with how Dinjarin goes to planet, we get to see the different effects that the Galactic Civil War has had on everything, which I think is probably one of the best things about the show, is that not only is it a really good story, but it expands on what we love about Star Wars, and at the same time continue to give more than what we thought we wanted. Like we can just say, okay, we just want the original trilogy, that's it. But then they're like, how about what happened after? This and that, like that, like that. Up until we get to the sequels, but we don't want to talk about that too much, even though we keep talking about it. Why? Because
we have to. It's something that we have to talk about.
Yeah, and with that, but up, because there's a lot of hints of what is happening in Mandalorian that are going to be playing into the sequel trilogy, like with the cloning and what's happening with Grogu, Imperial Remnant, and with these leaks that were coming out when they were filming season 3 of a certain type of Royal Imperial Guards that looked very similar to the ones that we saw in Last Jedi being shown or seen on set. So,
I don't know that.
You don't know that?
Are they in red? No?
What
I don't know
color
that.
is your beanie?
Like this one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I also
We
have another
shall see.
rumor though.
Mm.
There's a character that's also might be coming back.
Ooh.
The one that did not want to be in the sequel trilogies.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Oo nga.
But
Oh,
he
yeah.
has.
Hindi rin siya-
But if
yeah.
he is gonna be there, feeling ko, syempre, stand in double.
Or they have the ano, diba? The special effects to make the face young.
And they'll just pay him like, yeah, we used your face. Here's money. And it'll be like,
It will be like that.
I'm trying to promote Indiana Jones. You gotta wait.
Yeah. And I think they use the same technology in the Indiana Jones movie, so I don't think that's really far off.
True. Which is also kind of funny. Okay, also to the Star Wars fans that are out there or getting into it, just so you know, Harrison Ford hates Star Wars, but he definitely loves Indiana Jones. I think that's fair. As an actor, I think that's fair.
At least it's still under the Lucasfilm umbrella.
True. He's just like,
True.
I'm getting paid out of the way. Now he's more. Harrison Ford's just in everything at this point. He has three big franchises under his belt already. Yes.
No,
Indy,
you know what I think?
Star Wars.
He should be an Avatar.
At least
No, just kidding.
be one
No,
of
he should be an
the
Avatar. Pero he's wearing Han Solo clothes.
chaleco.
He got
pala.
he got
Avatar.
lost in the universe and
Star
reached he reached Pandora.
Avatar 7, Way of the Force.
Way of the Force.
Oh my god, if James Cameron gets the idea from us, I'm suing
No.
James Cameron. For box office returns. He can turn poop into gold.
True.
Actually.
James Cameron. Why are we talking about James Cameron? We're talking
I
about
don't
Star
know.
Wars.
I don't know. Maybe we want him to direct a Star Wars movie soon.
Oh, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Since Avatar is already under Disney.
No, he's probably busy with Avatar, so I don't know.
I mean, for all we know, James Cameron could probably save Star Wars movies if
Hmm.
the other planned movies fail.
Mm.
But then again, I don't think they'll fail because, like, after Rise of Skywalker, how else can you fail? There's nowhere else to go at this point.
Nowhere to go but up.
Or to go but
You're
up.
already in the bottom line.
Ah.
Unless they have a shovel. It's like, oh, we're at the lowest point of the franchise in movies? Well, we'll keep shoveling
I
then.
think there's more.
Wait, there's more! But yep. So yeah,
So question,
I guess that's
what are you looking forward to for this season of The Mandalorian? Or yeah. Kasi ako, sige, I'll start it off. Probably kasi syempre we're still curious with Grogu's backstory. Diba? So how did it come that Din Djarin was able to rescue, diba? Si Grogu in the first season. So paano tayo nakarating doon? Who if Grogu is sensitive sa Force, was he probably somewhere during the time of Order 66? And if he was somewhere, could he have been detected? Pero if he was detected, then he should have been dead, 'di ba? Pero he's not dead. Nandito tayo sa sa part na we are past the Empire already. So somehow Grogu has parang escape whatever Order 66 has done to the Jedi. So I don't know. So gusto kong malaman kung ano 'yun. And hopefully that can be revealed this season. If not, sana season 4 or 5, I don't know.
we never know. Like, the whole season series can go further.
Yep.
Although, what I'm most excited for is to see, hopefully, Din just taking control, taking charge, and unifying the whole Mandalorian clans, every single one of them. We almost did get that in Star Wars Rebels when Bo-Katan had it, but then she didn't get it properly, so here we are. She's lonely in emo mode. Wrong fault.
Sitting
Anyways,
by her chair and just looking out to the window.
thinking like, I miss Battlestar Galactica. But yeah, ikaw, Noah, what are you most excited for?
Ako, I mean, same thing with more on the story of Mandalorians. So yeah, unifying them. How will he do it since nasa kanya naman yung dark saber? Will people follow him? Kasi technically magiging dalawa yung mission niya, more on redeeming himself and unifying the Mandalorians. And then syempre, for sure, I'm a big Star Wars Rebels fan. Hopefully, I can see some of the characters from there. There are just Easter eggs pero iba pa rin yung makita mo na sila in live action. Kasi some were already casted. Some were already casted. So
Pero sa question, sino yung pinaka anong character, Star Wars character ang gusto mo makita mag-cameo sa season na to?
Sa season na to?
Ako,
he's also my favorite Star Wars character. Admiral Thrawn talaga. Kahit nakatalikod.
Yeah.
Kahit nakatalikod lang siya. Mula sa malayo, katingin. Si Ender of the season 3. Kahit
pwede
siya lang.
Kahit
okay
siya lang.
na
Pwede na. Sulit na yun.
That's for me. That's for me. Kayo.
Me, Boba Fett. Just so that he can have another awesome series.
Probably he's redeeming season.
Redeem himself. Like, all right, Boba, we need you back here. He's like, why? We need to redeem you so we can do Boba Fett season 2.
Kasi he's really good in season, and The Mandalorian. Then, bigla na lang.
Ako
Ikaw, Ray, may iba pa ba?
Someone na hindi... Dalawa. Pero it's not... I don't know yet how it will be connected sa story ni Mandalorian. Pero number one, syempre, my favorite comic book character na gusto ko makita in live action, Dr. Aphra. So, if probably, hopefully, they're gonna look for something, I don't know. If right now, diba, si Din Djarin is looking for technology that will help tune up si IG-11, diba?
Digging something.
They try to dig something, then they encounter Dr. Aphra. Hopefully. Second is, I also like the games. So, Jedi Fallen Order. So, gusto ko makita si Cal Kestis. And I don't know how that will happen, pero if we can see another Jedi in this timeline, Cal Kestis would probably be another Jedi that's there. Yun.
Yeah, all right. So I guess that conclude.
Yoda's voice is really coming out of your throat.
I don't think I'm doing Yoda's voice at this point. So that concludes our talk.
Our talk is concluded.
Wait, I want to try something. No, it doesn't work. That concludes us talking about the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere. Hopefully you guys might catch us talking about a few more of the new episodes coming out, because it's coming out again this week. And, well, of course, we're going to be watching it. We're going to be talking about it. And, of course, I have been Aqua Blake Salcedo, my co-host, Geeky Pinoy, and our own Night of Fun. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. Don't forget to follow us on our official pages on Spotify, Apple Podcast,
YouTube.
Right, YouTube. Cup of Geek Podcast. And, of course, do not forget to like and follow the Geek Talk PH official Facebook account page. And if you're not doing it at this point, why are you even watching this video? Anyways, that's been us, the Cup of Geek Podcast. May the Force be with you, for this is the way.
This is the way.
Live long and prosper. Wait, this is wrong.
No. Fans will get angry at that one. Peace. This is the way. The way.